we can summarize these four responses. One is zeta is 0 is called undamped. We have pole locations are purely imaginary on imaginary axis. Now second case, zeta is in between 0 and 1, the response is underdamped. Then we'll have poles in complex conjugate, especially in left of the S-plane only. Now third is when zeta is 1, it is a critically damped. My pole locations are on real axis, that is a negative real axis. Both are real and equal. The last one is we have zeta greater than 1, and the type of the response is overdamped response, and my poles, two poles are real but they are unequal. One is going to towards the infinity, minus infinity, one is going towards 0. Now, so I can look at these poles. This diagram gives me the complete picture of how zeta is varying and how my poles are varying. Now, this is S-plane. In this S-plane, right? So when zeta is 0, I say there are two poles and imagine I will take one pole here, another pole here, zeta is 0. And I have zeta is a tunable parameter. This zeta I can tune slowly, I can increase from 0 to 1 for example. So when it is increased from 0 to 1 and also beyond 1 slightly. So when it is 0, the tunable parameter, I have poles here. And the kind of responses also we can see, we have continuous oscillations. I'm increasing. When increasing, this pole is moving like this and another pole is moving like this. So both are taking a half cycle when it comes to your zeta is 1. And in between at any point I can take it as a underdamped system. So what will be the response? You can easily look at here the responses. We have continuous oscillations. As a zeta is increasing, the oscillations are slowly reducing. When it comes to here, the oscillations are 0. That means at critically damped, there are no oscillations. And again, if we increase zeta beyond 1, now we have a response which is making very slow. So it is becoming sluggish, right? It is fast, continuous oscillations, and oscillations are decreasing, critically damped. We have just like first order system response, and again the system response slowly sluggish. So this gives me the complete picture of your second order system poles with respect to zeta, how they are varying. Systems are underdamped, overdamped, and critically damped and undamped. So I want to take underdamped system, and for this underdamped system let us give step input, and for this step input I want to find what is the response, which means the step response of underdamped system. First we will take underdamped, we can slightly extend and we can get what are the other damped responses also. So before starting that derivation, let us look at what is the damping ratio triangle, or usually called damping triangle. Now, for underdamped system, we have complex poles. So take this S-plane, and I have one pole here, another pole here, and we know the length of it from origin. This length is zeta omega n, and this length is nothing but omega d. Then we draw one line from the pole to the real axis and the pole to your origin. So this creates a triangle, right? So where this is your adjacent side, opposite, and hypotenuse. So if you take this triangle separately, and if you take here, so in this triangle, then I can take the angle here, it is phi. The angle here, it is phi. And what will be this? This is nothing but your zeta omega n, and this is nothing but omega d, which is omega n into 1 minus zeta square under root. Then I can find out this, that will be, so this square plus this square, it results in omega n. So hypotenuse is omega n, and this is zeta omega n adjacent, and opposite is omega n into 1 minus omega square under root. Now everywhere we have omega n, we can cancel omega n. If we cancel omega n, and this again we can take it as, and this will be, so your this is 1, and here we have only zeta, and here it have under root of 1 minus zeta square. So with the angle phi, I can write how? What will be the sine phi? Sine phi is equal to under root of 1 minus zeta square divided by 1. So that will be simply under root of 1 minus zeta square. Similarly, you can write cos phi. The cos phi is simply zeta. Then what will be the tan phi? So tan phi is square root of 1 minus zeta square divided by zeta. So these three angles, sine, cos, tan, we can define from this triangle. They are useful in deriving the second order system response. Now let us take your closed loop transfer function of the standard second order system, that is C of s by R of s is omega n square divided by s square plus 2 zeta omega ns plus omega n square. Now, so what will be the R of s? R of s is 1 by s I am taking, because let us take only unit step input. For any unit step input it is 1 by s. So what will be the C of s now? C of s becomes omega n square divided by s into s square plus 2 zeta omega ns plus omega n square. Now I want to rewrite this in some standard forms. So C of s is equal to a by s plus bs plus c divided by s square plus 2 zeta omega ns plus omega n square. Then I can easily find out ABC values. Your A value becomes 1 and B is minus 1 and your C is minus 2 zeta omega n. Then if you substitute here, you will get C of s is 1 by s, then I can take minus common, then I can put bracket here, then inside the bracket then we will have s plus 2 zeta omega n is 2 zeta omega n divided by s square plus 2 zeta omega ns plus omega n square. When you look at this expression for C of s, we have already 1 by s. When you write C of t by applying the inverse Laplace transform, for 1 by s it is 1, we can directly get. Only thing is the second term. So I need to write this in a proper way so that I can apply my inverse Laplace transform very easily to get the time domain equation. Now in this second part, numerator is s plus 2 zeta omega ns. I will take the numerator separately here. So I will write it as s plus 2 zeta omega n is equal to s plus zeta omega n plus zeta omega n. So the zeta omega n plus zeta omega n becomes again here 2 zeta omega n. Similarly, the denominator of the second term, we have s square plus 2 zeta omega ns plus omega n square. And for this I am going to add zeta square omega n square and also subtract zeta square omega n square. And if you do that, then I can rewrite this as s plus zeta omega n whole square plus what are the remaining terms we have? We have zeta square omega n square, that is minus zeta square omega n square, and previously we already have omega n square. So I can write this as the denominator part alone, s plus zeta omega n whole square plus, if you take omega n square common, the result 1 minus zeta square. We know already omega n into under root of 1 minus zeta square is a damped natural frequency omega d. Now this term becomes now omega d square. So finally we will get the denominator, it is s plus zeta omega n whole square plus omega d square. Numerator we know s plus zeta omega n plus zeta omega m. Denominator is s plus zeta omega n whole square plus omega d square. So if you replace these things, your C of s expression, it looks like this. So C of s is 1 by s minus, now the second term is, I will take like this, s plus zeta omega n divided by s plus zeta omega n whole square, and plus we have zeta omega n. So I want to write zeta omega n divided by omega d, and that means dividing omega d and again multiplying omega d. So omega d by s plus zeta omega n whole square plus omega d square.